This is Mark and Charity's Coffee Podcast.
Welcome back.
I didn't think you actually would start.
You said start the podcast without you, so it's all the prompting
I don't think I said
needed.
without me. I said go ahead and start.
You know, got some water, did you?
I did. I was feeling a little parched.
On the air. No matter where you are, you're listening around the world, we do want to let you know that we are far more professional than this on the air.
Not today.
And maybe far
Most days.
more is a bit of a stretch.
Maybe a little bit.
Welcome to the podcast, everybody. It is December the 12th. Google has released its top searches of 2023. We will rip those apart. And as always, what happens is I start thinking, oh, yeah, that was big, but what about this? Now, it's the top 5 in all of the categories. So maybe that, bubbled around number 7 or number 8. But some of the interesting things that happened throughout the year that I know I went and Googled, but because I don't know a lot of stuff and other people do. So
I went and Googled a couple of things after we did this morning.
Yeah, right. Exactly. And then why Charity and I believe we have peaked in life expectancy and will no longer live to be 82, 83.
When you make these statements in the morning, when you come across something and you're like, and I know why, and this is I always get a little worried, but today, 100% on board with you.
Yeah.
I heard it and I thought, yep.
We're not going to live as long.
You are right.
Why aren't we going to live as long in the future? We will tell you why. All coming up in the Mark and Charity Coffee Podcast, brought to you by Simple Desk in Trenton.
Simple Desk in Trenton is your ultimate destination to streamline, market, and strengthen your business's brand. Jenny, the visionary behind Simple Desk, took her commitment to business support a step further by creating BRAZEN, an event for women who dare. After the event sellout in 2023, get ready for an even bigger and bolder BRAZEN 2024. The full-day experiential event is packed with networking, vendor booths, exciting giveaways, delicious food, and a speakers panel of incredible female entrepreneurs sharing their inspiring stories. Don't miss out on BRAZEN 2024. Mark your calendars for May 31st. Tickets go on sale November 1st. For all the details, visit simpledesk.ca/BRAZEN. And be sure to follow BRAZEN on Instagram at BRAZEN Events 1.
Thank you, Google. They keep records on everything. They know what you search.
Yeah.
Holy smokes. Their list is out now in several categories of the top searches for 2023.
Where do you want to start?
We'll start wherever you want.
Okay. Well, you started with people and passings, so let's do that.
Yeah.
And I was surprised by this, but I had to remind myself the purpose of Google is to look for things that you may not be aware of. So instead of necessarily listing the most popular things from 2023, it's the ones that we kind of question.
Or didn't know about.
For instance, I was surprised Taylor wasn't on here. Well, everybody knows what Taylor's doing. Everybody knows who she is. So that's where I had to kind of bring myself back a couple of times. The people was one of them. Because when I saw who number 1 was, it did take me a moment to remember and realize who that was. Even though it was a huge story earlier this year, had kind of forgotten about it. And that was the purpose of Googling. Damar Hamlin.
Yeah.
The number one person Googled this year. And you yourself may be like, oh, who? Why isn't it Taylor Swift? Why isn't it a mega movie star? Why isn't it something that's in the headlines now? Well, that was in the headlines, and the reason why people were Googling was because we weren't as familiar with him.
And that story was week 1 of 2023. Like it was one of the last football games. He is the Buffalo Bills player who, quote unquote, died on the field. And they brought him back. So that was a big search early on. But then name resurfaced again when it comes to training camp in August. And then again, Google him again in September when the season kicks off. So, the fact that could be a year long made him the most searched person on the planet in 2023.
You may have forgotten about Jeremy Renner's accident too. New Year's Day of 2023. He was at number 2. Travis Kelce, I think, I know I did, Googled him. But maybe, because, as you said, first for the Super Bowl, because he met his brother Jason and it became the Kelce Bowl for a lot of people. And for those who weren't familiar with football, yes, I was Googling him way back in February. And then now, of course, he's Taylor's other half. Tucker Carlson, also made headlines this year.
Because he got fired.
Yes.
Now what's he doing?
Exactly.
And then I think he just launched something new yesterday. So yeah, there's a lot of new things, right?
And little Tay.
Yeah, I
had to Google her after we got off the air.
Oh, it's a her, is it?
It's a her.
Okay.
If Google is right, she's about 16 years old. Social media phenom, made headlines when she was 11. Apparently she likes to rap and she does music videos, and she's just really popular.
Good for her.
There I was Googling her because I had no idea who she was.
I would have thought that'd be more TikTok than Google, but again, Google's a search engine.
Kind of goes hand.
So.
It's the search engine. Yeah,
Right.
yes, she's a TikTok star.
Yeah.
So we all had to Google her. So those were the top people of 2023. Passings, you may have forgotten, and you and I both forgot number 3, but coming in number 5 was Sinead O'Connor. That one was fairly recent.
Yep.
Jimmy Buffett, we lost this year. Jerry Springer.
Forgot.
Also passed away
Former
this year.
mayor of Cincinnati. That's what he was famous for.
Maybe for the folks of Cincinnati. I think the rest of us know him as a talk show host.
Yeah.
I do. I remember it was the first bad quote unquote reality TV. It was the one that for me got things going. It was the train wreck. You could not turn away from the chaos and the ridiculousness of his show. People loved it.
That show, I think, proved or opened people's eyes that the audience will watch to be reminded that no matter how bad my life is or how awful I think I've gotten myself into a situation, there's a whole bunch of people in worse shape than I am, and I'm willing to watch it.
Like crazy
so
people.
I can feel bad. And the name Springer almost became a noun.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, those people, they'd end up on Spring, right? Like, you became synonymous with train wreck. Was something
and people
awful.
Loved it.
Yeah, so he passed away.
He passed away this year, yes. Number 2 was Tina Turner, of course. And then Matthew Perry.
Matthew Perry, number 1. Yeah.
Now, again, that kind of goes against what I just said a moment ago, because I think everybody knew who Matthew Perry was.
Sure.
But once he passed, everybody just wanted to search everything up they could, I guess.
And he's not in the news every day like Taylor Swift is.
No, you're right.
He doesn't have a machine behind him ensuring that their name is out every day on every social media site. So as a result, he what's he been doing since Friends? How much money was he worth?
And I think that was the interest
Yeah.
with his past. I think people just wanted to know, okay, has he been in trouble recently? Like, what's been going on? Has there been reports? Like, what could I find out about him? Now that he's passed. So that was very sad. So those, I would say, are the 2 big ones.
Did you read the story where Jennifer Aniston said she texted Matthew Perry the morning of his death?
I saw that.
Said he was in a really good mood. He was in a really good place, and she felt so happy for him. And then you get that one the next day.
How often do you hear that, though?
You think it's made up?
No, I don't think it's made up. But it struck me as, quite often you hear that. People finally almost they reach a peace.
Yeah.
Like, things are good. Things are like, we're happy. We're okay. We're at peace with where we are in our life. And then you hear about them passing. And I know that sounds morbid, but at the same time, it's kind of nice. Like, and for her to share that and say, no, he was happy. I want that to be out there. Like, he was good.
Yeah.
So I think it is important for her to put that out there. Not just, I think for her personally, but so she can tell people that as well, so people know.
And Matthew Perry, much like, say, Sinead O'Connor, they'd had a journey, to finally be able to come to a point where it's like, no, I've come through it. Yes, it took quite a toll, and now we find out it takes more than a toll than you thought it did. But and then you think, well, good for you. Now you get to enjoy your life again, and then it's gone. Yeah, and that's just another little nugget on there. So. Anyway, so that was 2020.
That was the
news
people.
Items. It's not surprise from October. The Palestinian-Israeli Gaza war has been the most searched online Google thing ahead of the submarine explosion,
which I had forgotten about again.
Titanic.
And I will admit, I spent a lot of time on Google when that happened.
Yeah.
Just I guess reintroducing myself or learning again about the Titanic.
Right.
And then wanting to know everything I could about this submersible, about the submarine and the people. It was horrible.
It was terrible.
It was a horrible story.
Yeah.
But yet so fascinating. We were all just captivated by it. So I'm not surprised it was number 2.
And then 3 through 5 were all hurricanes. All right. So whatever.
Mother Nature wreaking havoc.
Feeling good. I am terrified so let me put this in the podcast so that people know, and if you think I'm lying, I don't care.
Okay.
I'm terrified that people could see my Google searches. Like, isn't that crazy? First of all, I want to tell you, everybody, I write thrillers. That's why I want to know how long it takes for a body to decompose when left in a frozen garage. That's why.
Oh my God.
I don't want anybody to think, can you put a silencer on a 357 Magnum? The reason why I Google that is for
Mark.
Accuracy.
It is
in a
shocking
book.
someone hasn't knocked down your door yet.
It is so funny because I'd seen all that, and then I literally saw that from a writer I follow on Twitter that said, when they come for me and look at my Google search, remember I'm a mystery writer. And it was like, oh my God, you're right. Right click on my Google searches. Yikes. You got to clear that.
I'm looking at my Google search. These aren't my Google searches. These are just trending searches.
Oh, okay.
So my Google searches.
Yeah, like the last 10 things you looked up.
Okay, this is ridiculous. How do I see that?
Oh, you don't have it there? Well, maybe
Well,
you
it doesn't come up. It shows me the trending searches. And I can see mine on here. Like I can on my work computer, I can tell you what my last searches were here. Roman Empire was on here because, again, I had to Google. That was one of the trends on Google this year.
Yeah.
Was Roman Empire. It was also the most often search. How often do you think about the Roman Empire? That was the number one how often search on Google. And you and I had no idea why. Yeah. So, of course, I had to Google it. And apparently there was a thing going on this summer. It looked like it was early August through September where a TikToker started this trend of how often do you think about, how often do you think about the Roman Empire during the day? Or is it a daily thing? And it just snowballed from there.
Goes.
I totally missed it. I did not hear about this trend at all.
I know somebody asked me, I thought that's a strange thing, but probably every day. Move on. I don't know.
You're not serious, though.
No, I don't think so.
You've never thought about it's not a regular thought for you, the Roman Empire.
Sometimes
because it was geared towards men. It was specifically men think about it every day.
Yeah, that's a lot. I don't think I do every day.
I don't know where it came from.
I don't know.
It's kind of ridiculous.
Just looking at my Google search, I have CDC Belleville because they have their auction going on, so I Googled them. Funkonometry, we were just watching that dance
that's on mine too. Yep.
National Breakup Day, that was yesterday.
Okay, yes.
Leg lamp ornament, I think I'm on our side computer.
That might be Emily.
I think that's Emily. White Christmas movie. And then Castlebridge Media royalty payment structure. That's me. They've got my novel, by the way. Castlebridge Media, just send me a contract and publish my novel, will you? So, yeah, but some of the crazy things that people search. And then, do you want to get really morbid?
Sure.
A gentleman, and I use that word ironically because he wasn't, who killed his wife. One of the things, he claimed he didn't do it and that there was no physical evidence. Then they got into his Google searches, and for hours it was like, how to cut up a body. How low should you bury a body so dogs can't smell? All that stuff was in his Google searches, and he confessed. So this stuff
That's what I mean about why are people not banging down your door?
Yeah, I know. Because I'm on the air admitting it, and so far nobody in my life has disappeared.
So if you admit it, then it takes away all guilt or suspicion.
That sounds like a book. I'll have to do that. If somebody goes on, admits it ahead of time, then something happens. All right.
It was very interesting.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But anyway, Google, thank you very much. We appreciate that. So that was fun today. And then we got talking about the fact that, speaking of Google, a survey came out of people that said, you've got some sort of ailment. Now what do? And more people trust Google and social media than their doctor when it comes to diagnosing ailment and treating ailments.
And that's why we're not going to live any longer.
We're not going to live as long. That's it. when suddenly,
well, it wasn't.
Holy smokes.
It wasn't so much that, but the comment that you made about how we were more apt to the actual trusting of social media over doctors. Because I'll be honest, I have Googled symptoms. If it's something I question,
yeah, for sure.
It's like, okay, what could this be? Or how can I maybe treat... If it's telling me something serious, like something... Like it's more than just maybe a fever.
Yeah.
It could be something else. Then, of course, I will go to a doctor. But especially when the kids were younger, it's kind of like, okay, how much do I give a child who has this temperature? And then I would have it.
Oh, yeah.
Sure. If it's, okay, these spots don't look right, we got to go see the doctor. Yeah. So people putting that much faith, and as we've seen, especially in the last few years, that much faith in social media, we're doomed.
And it's a result of it.
We're doomed.
The key word in the survey to me was trust. Like you wanted information. So it would be one thing to say, your doctor says, give your child this for the fever, and they go home and say, well, I don't know what he knows because I'm going to go Google it, and here's some Hollywood TikToker who says you should just have chicken soup and don't take it. Well, I'm going to do that. I don't know. But again, it goes back to because there's still a lot of questions about the pandemic, and so there are a lot of people that don't trust anything that they hear from science or medicine. They took horse paste, and some of them died because they read about it online and wouldn't listen to the doctor.
Trump wanted to give people...
Yeah, it was ivermectin. And then shove bleach up their ass in a light, and then... So, and it's like, I would rather if a doctor tells me that's what it has to do.
They've gone to school. They're educated. They know what they're doing. That is their profession. That is their job.
Yeah.
That is their expertise.
That's how we've been able to live 82 years on average because we've listened to science, and now we're not going to do it anymore. We're going to listen to people with big accounts on. So anyway.
Who have an opinion.
Good luck. We're going to back up to about 75 years of age, and then in about 10 years, we're all going to die off in our 40s, and we're going to be shocked. I'm going to be the oldest person on the planet at 80.
Yes. It did occur to me. And I don't know why it came to mind. This thought crossed my mind the other day. Being the age that I am, I would have been close to death at one time in history.
Yeah, for sure.
Like I would have been compared to a 90-year, the equivalent of a 90-year-old.
Well, you want to run through it? Let's run through it.
Okay.
Give me some year way back.
1872.
Older. Way back. 1200s.
Oh, okay. Okay.
First of all,
1240.
First of all, you have 2 children?
Yes.
Probably would have killed you. Childbirth.
Oh.
So let's start with that.
Not just then. I am quite confident to say that to give birth to my children, I couldn't. That's why I had C-section. So yes.
So let's start with that. Women living to 40 who had children, 5% of them did, maybe. Yeah. And then if diseases didn't get them, if wild animals didn't get them.
To have them both still alive.
Yeah.
At this age. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Not killed in war. Some sort of viral disease in the water. People, there's just... The odds that you could make it to 40, and as a guy, if you weren't killed in war, forget it. Oh my gosh. You just were not until there was any kind of science to figure out, well, of course, penicillin, that was the big one.
But hygiene in general.
Oh my
gosh,
was just, forget it.
It was gross.
Yeah. But I shouldn't downplay, you said 1850. You're probably right. The average age of a woman might have been 60.
Well, and I would say, we've said that before, my grandmother was, how old was Grandma? I don't know. She might have just been 70 when she passed. But thinking back to where she was at different stages as I was growing up, and my mom now looking at her, how much older she was. I look at times in our life and I think, okay, my grandmother would have been 55 at that time, let's say.
Right, yeah.
And she was a grandmother in every sense of the word. She looked like a grandmother. She act like a grandmother. And my mom is 70 now, and she still doesn't act like a grandmother. That's what I mean. The difference there too. So yes, someone my age at one time would have been a grandmother, most likely, if she had made it even to the, like, it just blows my mind.
Blows your mind.
It really does.
We were cleaning out our basement crawl space when we get our Christmas tree out. And I came across my high school program for graduation. October of 1981 was practically chiseled in stone. It was so old. And I had forgotten that my mother had assisted in the afternoon tea. There was my mother's name. As you know, we'd like to thank those, and there was last names of some of my classmates, their moms. And I went, oh my gosh, I'd forgotten that she had done that. And I ran through it in my head, how old she would have been. And I turned to Kathy and I said, you are the same age right now that my mother was that day. And my mother was old.
Yeah.
I thought of my mother as, because she's my mother, first of all. I've known her my whole life by that point. But again, born in the 20s, so they just...
It was very different.
Oh,
the way you lived, what you did, your day-to-day life, how you looked after yourself.
Right. Meanwhile, Kathy and I were off doing all of this stuff. Yeah. On bikes and doing whatever, and my mom was old at the same age.
Yeah.
That's just so...
I saw your vacation pictures. Yeah. Like, that was not an old couple.
No,
that was a young couple out having a good time.
Yeah. Past kids. But anyway, so what we're not saying is trust everything that you hear from every single doctor. Get yourself a second opinion for the serious stuff.
Oh, certainly.
But holy smokes.
To put all your faith into social media and what Joe Blow says down the street.
Based on an algorithm for things you already see. So it's just going to confirm the way you already think is not a diagnosis.
No. And you will not, you'll have a hard time living until 80.
Well, we'll
90.
miss you.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're not around in 2024, we would love to see you there. Coming up tomorrow, the entire show for 3 hours. It's Taylor Swift's birthday. Ring Watch 2023.
Do we have elements for tomorrow's next? Do we have decorations? Are we having cake? We should get a cake.
Okay, maybe.
34 is a big year.
You should get a cake. I'll get some chips. We'll figure it out.
All right. We also put up on our Facebook page we're having some fun with holiday music. So we're asking you to fill in the blank. And we gave you 7 different categories, ranging from place, animal, number, color, names, activities you do over the holidays. And you have to slot in your favorite holiday song according to the category. Got some pretty good ones.
Has to be in the title.
Has to be, yes, the title of the song. People are getting pretty creative. No cheating, no repeat. So you can't use the same song twice within your picks.
Okay, yeah.
And you can't use Google. Don't use Google. It's got to be the first thing that comes to mind. Plop it in there. And we'll talk about that tomorrow as well.
First category is place. We did Fairy Tale New York.
Yes.
The Pogues.
Yes. That was your pick, which I was I was like, yes.
We Three Kings for number. White Christmas for color.
Of course.
So anyway, fill that out. We'd love to read that tomorrow. And you can take a look at everybody else's, of course, but what we really want is for you to just hit it out of the park. Be the only one. We already want a hippopotamus for Christmas.
That was our animal. Yeah, a lot of people went with Rudolph. Grandma got run over by a reindeer. Yeah. See, that was a good one. Yeah. I like that one. But we put it up there just to have some fun.
It's our show, so if not everybody survives the game, we're good with it.
Just to take maybe a break from the Taylor Swift tomorrow.
Sure.
We thought we'd throw that in there.
There's a bit of a demise. It'll make us laugh. That's unfortunate. That and more all coming up tomorrow morning. Got a special guest on the show when we do our movie with Galaxy of Games.
Oh, do we?
Yes, a movie star on the show tomorrow.
I can't wait.
From a holiday favorite movie. He was in it, and he's going to be on the show tomorrow morning. Local actor.
Oh.
Every couple of years, we love to drag Tom in here. And he is always willing to accommodate and loves it.
Thank you for playing along to this day, Tom.
Tom, it's going to be great. All coming up tomorrow morning with Mark and Charity Mornings on 95.